we kind of have a problem. I went to go drive the Rally Miata to the shop, as I always do, and no brakes. Where'd the brakes go? Let's also not forget the door doesn't really close. I mean, it's like fucking... Please just... Thank you. This is the third time I've gone to drive the Rally Miata somewhere and it didn't have any brakes. The first time, I thought it was just, oh, I don't know, I didn't fill up my fluid the last time I did something with the brakes. The second time, I was like, yeah, there's probably something wrong. Now the third time, there's definitely something wrong, so that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna try to fix the brake leak issue. What's happening is that all the fluid leaks out of the reservoir, and then I go start the car, push the brakes, and they go to the floor, and I get air all in the system, and I have to bleed the brakes. I was hoping the brakes would work well enough for me to at least drive to the shop where I have tools and where it's heated and where I have light, but it's way too sketchy. I drove down the street to Target to get my cat some cat food, but I almost died numerous times. The only way I could stop was by engine braking, because the e-brake doesn't work either. I didn't have brakes, I didn't have an e-brake, all I had was my engine. So yeah, we're gonna try to bleed the brakes real quick and then go to the shop and fix this. Problem is that this is really all I have, and it's also -3 out here, so it's a little chilly, but I just have to get them kind of working, just a little bit. I almost died for this, so you better be damn grateful. There you go, buddy. Sadly, there isn't a single auto parts store with a brake master cylinder in stock, so I ordered one. We're gonna have to wait till tomorrow to fix it. But in the meantime, we're gonna start unpulling the RX7's engine out. I mean, what else do I have to do, right? Might as well pull an engine, so. That was actually the original plan for today, was to pull the RX7 engine out, and then my brakes broke. And I decided I probably should fix my brakes before I remove my engine. So, I guess we're going back to removing an engine. If you want to know why everything in the north rusts, this is why. This is all salt. It's just pure salt. And that's just on the windows. Imagine how bad it is underneath the car. Ah, it's so terrible. Oh, heat. It's still working. That's good. Gonna start by draining the fluids. Ah! Alright, now you're good. Keep going. Oh, okay. Oh. Just leave it off. Take it off completely. Perfect, there we go. Okay, that was kind of a fail, but oh well. How not to drain your coolant. Step 1, do exactly as I do. Radiator is a little dirty. Well, we got all the fluids drained, the radiator out, a couple lines undone. That's all I'm gonna do up here for now. I'm gonna move on to the trans part of things, getting the drive shaft off, unbolting the trans, like the trans mount, and then call it a night for there. You guys will probably be happy to know that this is not going back on. We are building a new exhaust for the new engine. We want flames. Oh, easiest drive shaft removal in my life. Holy cow. So I got the drive shaft out. That was really easy. Trans mount unbolted. We got all the heat shielding out from under there. I was gonna take the headers off, but I decided that was too much of a pain, so we're gonna leave those on. Hopefully be able to pull it out with the headers on there. Really all we have to do now is oil cooler lines, power steering lines, fuel lines, and all the wiring, and all the vacuum lines. So I guess it's still quite a lot, but then it's ready to come out. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this. This is like my first time delving deep into the mechanics of any car besides a Miata, because I never really did anything mechanical with this thing. I mean, it's completely stock. Sure, I messed with the exhaust, I messed with the paint, some suspension stuff, but I've never done anything like engine-wise. So this entire thing is a huge learning experience for me, and it makes it so much more fun. I started labeling things because we are going to be pulling out this entire wiring harness, because the new engine comes with a new wiring harness, which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen the other videos where I talked about this, we are Turbo 2 swapping it, so it's still gonna be rotary, but it's not gonna be naturally aspirated. It's gonna have a nice little single turbo. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so much better. But we're not gonna be doing anything crazy with the motor. We're just gonna be putting in a completely stock one, running at stock power for a while until I learn how to drift properly. So that's gonna be around 200 horsepower. Much better than the like 150 that this has. I do already have plans for where this engine is going to go. That's why I'm labeling the wiring harness for this engine, so when I go to put it into a different vehicle, it's nice and easy. I know where everything goes. It doesn't have anything to do with a Miata, so I'm not rotary swapping a Miata. Sorry, but it's actually going to be cooler than that. Rotary swap all the things. I'm just going to work on removing some of the AC things that I can. What I'm gonna do now is actually take off the bumper and the fenders, because a couple of reasons. Number one, we don't want to accidentally scratch them while we're pulling out the engine, which I feel like is pretty easy, and with new-ish paint, I feel like it'd be pretty easy to scratch, like right there. Secondly is we're going to paint the engine bay, so we're gonna have to take this off anyway. Might as well take it off now. Fuck you, dude. I hate this thing. Brake master cylinder has been replaced. Brakes have been bled. They feel good. However, during that process, we have discovered that the end of that brake line is still leaking. It's very, very small amounts, like a drip every time you push the brakes, but it is still leaking. I checked to make sure it wasn't cross-threaded and to make sure it was all the way tight, and trust me, it is all the way tight. Very, very tight, and it's still leaking. So it's possible that was the problem in the first place, but we'll see. No way to find out but to wait. So hopefully I don't lose all my brake fluid tonight while I was parked in the garage. That would kind of suck, because then I have to bleed the brakes again. And, Poor Molly. She doesn't like the snow. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it for today. We hopefully fixed the Rally Miata. We really got quite a lot of progress done on this car. Honestly, one day of work and we can have that thing out of here and we can get started on doing the wiring stuff for the new engine, the painting of the engine bay, and some other things. We also fixed the Rally Miata's idle. No longer idles at 1800 RPMs, idles at like 800 RPMs. It's so nice. And we got this thing stuck in the snow. I do have a couple things coming for this car, so that's exciting. We can't really use it because it's winter and I can't drive it, but we can at least make it nicer, so when summer comes, it'll be nicer. After thinking about it some more, I decided that I'm gonna use this as my daily for next spring/summer. I haven't driven it enough with the turbo setup it has now, so before we do an engine swap with it, I'm gonna daily it for a while.